Hello and welcome to Red Gaming Tech. My name is Amata. Today is still the 2nd of December and I have some rather interesting and, I have to admit, amusing news from Amazon, as they have announced plans to fly packages direct to your door via an unmanned drone, which is planning to start in the US in 2015. Now, this is going to be known as Amazon Prime Air, and the robotic vehicle, which looks rather light and kind of cool, will pick up your order from the production line, clip the package to its underbelly, and then fly it off to your house. And yes, I'm being deadly serious. They've even released a short trailer, which of course I will link in the description, to basically show you how it's going to work. Now, urban areas will see the drones first, where package delivery time will be reduced to as little as 30 minutes from placing your order. So just picture it with me. You live in an urban area in the US and you order your new game or whatever for your PS4/Xbox One or what have you, and 30 minutes later, ding dong, there's a drone at your door, and then it's there ready to play. That actually sounds kind of amazing, I will admit. Now, the main hold-up behind the technology is the FAA's, which is of course the Federal Aviation Administration's, current rules for aerial vehicles. Now, these are now being updated to account for new forms of unmanned air traffic. Now, Amazon did explain, quote, "We hope the FAA's rules will be in place as early as sometime in 2015. We will be ready at that time." Now, they're aiming to make the sight of Prime Air drones, quote, "as normal as seeing mail trucks on the road today." Now, of course, there are numerous concerns that the trailer doesn't really address, although I'm sure Amazon will be taking them into consideration, considering that they have until 2015 to think this through and to add security options and so on. So, what if you live in a fairly densely populated area and, there's not a big leafy garden, which is what is shown in the trailer, if you've given it a watch. If not, do so, it's quite amusing, to land in. If you don't have a garden at all, it's possible. If you live in a certain area, you may have a small back garden, no front garden. I see that, in some areas around here that, I've got both a front and back garden, but some people don't. Some people only have a back garden, and sometimes their back garden is really, really small. What about that? How would the drone actually deliver it to you? Would that be a problem for its landing? And of course, what if the little aircraft malfunctions and it falls from the sky and your package is lost forever? And I think the main concern that's going to pop into people's mind is, how do you avoid someone intercepting the drone and stealing whatever item that you've had delivered? Now, of course, they're going to be quite high in the air, but they're not going to be like as high as an airplane would go. That would be a bit crazy. So it would be possible for someone with, I don't know, a rifle or something to shoot the drone down and just steal whatever it was carrying. It's entirely possible, but as I said, Amazon have until 2015 to think this through, and I'm sure they are aware of these security concerns. I mean, they're not just going to think that we live in lollipop land and that no one's going to be thinking about this, because, well, people are, and they know that. So I would assume we'll be getting an official statement nearer the time of launch of this particular piece of technology, and I'm sure they're going to address it. I'll be very surprised if they don't, to be quite honest with you. Now, I have to admit, I am rather amused, but I do think this is an actually really, really cool piece of technology. Just imagine if this comes to fruition. Now, of course, as I said, there are numerous security concerns, but let's just imagine that Amazon has addressed most of them, and there are things in the terms and conditions that will basically say, if the worst were to happen and something happens to your copy of FIFA or whatever, then, of course, you'll be sent a new copy, perhaps via traditional mail or what have you. So let's just ignore that for a moment. Just imagine how cool this would actually be. Now, obviously, for those of us outside of the US, it's kind of like, oh, but why don't we have it? Well, I'm sure we will be having it eventually. It coming out in the US first is fine, understandable, and of course, they need to do a test run basically, and they need to see what problems arise and so on, and of course, getting permissions in every country in the world is, going to be difficult. So let's hope we get it in the UK/EU. That would be rather cool, to say the least. Anyway, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on this. This sounds a little bit like science fiction, like I'm making this up, but I'm really not. So I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. Anyway, that is me done for the day. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.